In this lesson on lighting, I'll cover the basics of three-point lighting using our character, the Ego, as a subject. Three-point lighting is classic theater or stage lighting. However, it shouldn't be viewed as the only solution. I think it should be viewed as a departure point for lighting. And the reason is, in succeeding lessons, we'll get into directional and parallel light, daylight, and bouncing light. But having an understanding of three-point lighting, I think, is very essential. Three-point lighting is, as the name suggests, three lights pointed at a character, or 3 points of light in a scene. There's a key, there's a fill, and a rim light. To start out, I'll create some spotlights to use on my character, choosing Create, Lights, and Spot. I'll take my spot, pull it over in the scene, and make it bigger. For lights, just like cameras, we have an object display locator scale. I'll make my locator scale 10 so I can find that light, and I'll pull it up in the scene. What I'll also do sometimes is hit T for target and pull that light around so I can aim it, placing the target on the character. I'll check in a top view as well, switching over to a wireframe if I need. What makes this easier in general working is to use the rendering mask. I'll press and hold spacebar for the hotbox and choose the space to the left of Maya and pick rendering mask. Now I can only pick lights and cameras. Back in the front view, I'll aim this light down. Typically, for characters, lights come from above. That way the shadows are in the right places, under the chin, under the nose, in the eye sockets, and so forth. Uplighting looks very strange. That's why people hold flashlights under their chins at campfires, is to look drastically different than the usual shadow we expect, i.e. scary. Okay, enough about campfire stories. This is the start of the light. I'm going to take my light and open up the cone a little bit, maybe 50. I'm going to make the penumbra angle 6 and the drop-off 5. That way it's got a little fade to the edge. I'll go into my perspective and see how this looks. In the view, 6 is hardware texturing. 7 uses all lights. Not bad. I've got a good strong light on him. It'll cast shadows in the right direction, but he's fairly dark in the other places. I need to add another light in. In three-point lighting, this is the key light. The fill light is half the intensity of the key, roughly. I'll take this light and duplicate it, slide it over to the side, making sure that the angles are uneven, and maybe pull it down just a little bit. I can even use this as a bit of an uplight if I want, but I'm going to leave it high. And I'll lower the intensity. Here it is at 0.5. I'll check again in my perspective. Not bad. He's lit nicely, at least from two sides. We'll see how this looks in a render. Pretty good so far. Background is a little dark, but he's got good general light and the shadows are in the right places. Now I'm ready for my rim light. This serves to pick the character off the background. I'll take my fill, duplicate it, and slide it in back of him, aiming low and long behind his head. This rim light may vary in location depending on where the character is and the lighting in the scene. I'll render one more time and see how this looks. It's working. I need a background really to test, but he's coming across fairly nicely. We've got good light picking him out. There's a little bit of a shine across his arm from the rim light, and there's nowhere on him that's really drastically in darkness that shouldn't be. We can use other lights as part of this. One of the things is to remember that a three-point lighting setup is a point of departure and an idealized situation. Typically, and what I'll show in the next lessons, I will use multiple lights as fills. These just so happen to be the lights in the room so the characters sit naturally. Then I'll add in rim lights and key lights just to pick out the characters, letting multiple fill lights participate in the three-point lighting. The daylight system is really an extension of this, with the key light often being the sun and the fill coming from the sky. We'll see those in later lessons.